Outsiders, issue 9, Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing writing with Robert Carey on the art. And I think I understood what this was doing. Maybe a little bit.
I'm pretty sure I did.
I think I did by the end. I think this canon like kills realities or whatever. But
it's like the idea that it exists because guns are so fundamental to the medium.
Yeah,
right. And it's not just guns; it's by extension just like weapons and action is so fundamental to the narrative of comics, especially Western superhero comics. The idea that has created something so big that that it can kill them as well.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't an instant one. Like the last issue with Batwoman and Ginny Hex, like I loved that issue. I thought that was a great issue.
I have kind of loved every issue of this right now. This is kind of snuck under the radar to become my favorite ongoing DC book.
Oh, really?
Right now.
Well, it's not ongoing, I don't think. Technically, it's ending.
Well, all right. Well, okay. Ongoing in the sense of it's more than 6 issues and it's still being published right now.
I actually don't remember if it's ending at 10 or 12, but one of the two. It's either ended at 10 or 12.
That's fine. 12 issues is fine for this. I hope it's 12. It didn't feel like next issue was going to be the last.
I agree. It didn't feel like that when I was reading this either. So it's probably 12.
There's definitely 11 solicited.
Okay, so it's 12.
So,
it definitely popped up at some point in a solicit that it's ending at 12. So.
Oh, it might be 11. Oh, 11's the last issue.
Oh, 11's okay, fair enough. 11's the last one.
So you split the difference.
Well, it's to be fair, it's a weird number. It's usually 10 or 12. Anyway, I've liked most of the issues quite a bit. I think there was one other issue that I didn't like as much. I want to say it was the one with the vampires. I didn't like that much, but for the most part, I've also enjoyed the concepts that it's thrown at me, the way it sort of handled some of its ideas. I thought the Century Baby was a really cool issue. That was a really interesting idea.
It's been a really fun meta book that I feel like I've been missing in DC recently.
I think with this one, I just wasn't quite as into it because it was a lot of mumbo jumbo about what the canon is, as they're basically captured by the soldiers that run this place, and they're put in cages, and it felt like a lot of Fate monologuing once the Fate helmet comes into it, and I don't think I was quite as into that as I have been some of the other stuff.
I love Fate.
Oh, but Destiny, or just Fate.
Well, Dr. Destiny maybe.
Well, it's Dr. Fate, so yeah, why not Dr. Destiny as well?
Yeah. Exactly. Maybe I'm a fan of doctorates.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, it does the whole thing where it kind of like Fate's narrating as it shows effectively almost as if it's almost like you're looking at stone like carvings of like, oh, here's like the regular Justice League, but here's like the present day team that we're following. Here's a little bit of Final Crisis with Batman versus Darkseid, and just sort of like bits of DC history, and all that.
Love it.
Which, to be fair, the art on those 2 pages is interesting because it's very different from the rest of the book with all the it's just yellow and black effectively. But I don't think I loved this issue quite as much, but it definitely felt like it was building up to more of its meta concepts and whatnot. I did also like the 2-page layout where they're running through this like complex, whatever you want to call it, this place where the big cannon's attached to, and there's like a page where they're like running past alligators. There's like
with the pros kind of there as well.
Yeah, there's like a mech with like a tank for a head. I mean, I say a tank for a head, I don't mean like an army tank. I mean like a tank you put fish in, like a water tank.
It's like what's the guy from Hellboy with the tank on his head? Like the gas tank. It's almost like that. Like the gas tank on his head. He's in the movies. He's in one of the movies anyway.
Gas tank? I don't remember a gas tank on a head.
It does. It's like an oval fish bowl with a gas tank. It's a thing.
You mean Abe?
No, not Abe.
Okay, fair enough.
Another one.
Yeah, no, it's a really big fish tank though, kind of looking thing. But he's got a big metal.
It is.
It's also something you'd fight in Final Fantasy. Like I'd expect to fight this in Final Fantasy 7.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got that sort of look to it.
Honestly, this whole idea of the giant cannon fits right into Final Fantasy.
I mean, there is a giant cat in the Final Fantasy 7.
Exactly what I mean. Like this whole issue is like, well, what if Final Fantasy was DC?
Yeah, in some ways, yeah.
Maybe that's why I like it more than you.
Maybe it is. Maybe it is. But you do get like a big moment where it's a big 2-page spread where the cannon fires, and it's like, oh shit, where's that going? So, yeah. But there's another ship that shows up here, which is where things get a little bit, interesting.
Yeah.
Because Batwoman shows up to sort of help save the day, and they're off to deal with it. And the cliffhanger at the end is the drummer, although not actually drummer, as we know now, Chiquita, but she actually picks up Ginny Hex's gun, which Batwoman's brought with her, and it kind of looks like she's aiming to use it for something. It's all very ominous.
Does. Yeah, and they talk about how they've integrated the world killer cannon from this issue into her systems as well. So she's kind of got access to both of these guns. And yeah, what you know, we know she's a little bit unhinged. You know, she's obviously still mourning her own universe.
Yeah, you can actually see it on the last page, the cannon on on Batwoman's ship, because it's not there on the earlier pages. If anything, I'd almost say you should emphasize that more by having like a much bigger, like in your face kind of moment of it. It's like it's got a penis on the last page.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, like what is she gonna do with these horrifically powerful guns? I'm intrigued.
Yeah, because obviously the Ginny Hex gun basically keeps the souls whoever's, you know, fired at last coming for them, kind of thing. It's very It Follows, actually, in a lot of ways. I was thinking of that last issue. And then this cannon kind of just nukes realities, you know, as if they're being retconned out of a crisis, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It does feel like she's going to do something bad though, and maybe Kate and Luke are going to have to try and stop her.
I'm really looking forward to the final couple issues of this book. It feels like it's, but I'm not mad that this is a limited series because it feels like it's got an end game in mind right now.
Yeah, I do think it's one that I might even like more reading it in collected,
the whole thing,
because sometimes, like, remembering some of the weird details that they've brought up in previous issues, like some of them really stick like the Century Baby, but some of them are a bit more hard to remember. I feel like reading this like all in one go would probably really benefit it. It'd probably feel like a really good, you know, one day just sit down, read the 11 issues, get to the end.
It'd be a great read. Yeah. I hope they make a nice like a deluxe sized hardcover of it. Would be really nice. The oversized one.
You might get your wish. Maybe they'll see it as too much of a small time seller, or maybe they'll want to push it as like a prestige thing. It's hard to tell sometimes with DC. All right. Well, that said, though, we give an Outsiders issue 9.
Probably like an 8.5. Big swings. Pretty much mostly hits.
I think for me it's more of a 7. Like, I didn't like this one quite as much as a lot of the other issues, but you know, I'm still curious to see where it's going with its end game.